Welcome back to Ask the Educator, a podcast for all professionals involved in medical device processing and sponsored by Healthmark Industries. The education team here at Healthmark has 280 years of combined experience in areas ranging from sterile processing, endoscopy, OR, biomed, to hospital and industry leadership. Our goal is to leverage our collective experience to answer one of your questions each episode, giving you the practical tips you need to succeed in the evolving world of device processing. My name is Kevin Anderson, clinical educator here at Healthmark, and I will be your host. Let's get started. All right, welcome back everybody to Ask the Educator. Normally we have one of our educators or a guest serve as an educator on the show, but this time we're bringing one of our team members from the sales department. Stephen Kovac refers to her as the brush queen, and that is because she is our product specialist for brushes. So welcome to the show, Abby, and just tell our guests a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Kevin. Thanks for having me on the show today. I'm excited to be here. Feel honored since I'm technically not an educator, but I've been with Healthmark for 5 years now, and I have taken on the role as the brush product specialist. So this role, I really enjoy it because it gives me an opportunity to travel with our local reps. As well, I'm able to attend local and national trade shows. And really, as many of you know, or if you're familiar with Healthmark, you know we have a vast product line. And this allows me to focus on just one part of our product line to help both the rep and the customer find tools to help properly manually clean. With this job, and my end goal and the rep truly is to partner with the facility to help find the tools and the products they need to make this manually cleaning the first step in their process much easier and ultimately find the best way to make the instruments safe for patient use.
That's great. Stephen and I did an episode a while back on brushing for arthroscopic shavers. Sharon, another educator on our team, and featured on our Leak Tester podcast, he put together an amazing webinar program on the art of brushing. As simple as brushing sounds, when it comes to cleaning medical devices, it can actually be very challenging. There are all different items with different size lumens and all the different crevices and so on. It can be hard sometimes for processing teams to find the exact right brush for the job. And sort of that's where you come in. Abby, can you just briefly explain your role as the product specialist for brushes?
Sure. One of the reasons I think this role ultimately was created was because while brushing and manually cleaning may be a very basic concept, you said it yourself. It can be very challenging to find the right tool or even find any direction or a brush size to use in the device instructions for use. Manually cleaning is the first step in the process for SPD in that it's the first step really they control. So they can manage it and have it be done correctly each and every time. As well, if we do not do the manually cleaning properly, then how can the rest of the process be done correctly? If there's still debris in the inner lumen because maybe there wasn't enough friction when cleaning, it will still be in the instrument after sterilization, which means that that instrument technically really is not ready for patient use. And there's no such thing as sterile dirt. So as I mentioned, in this role, I travel with the sales reps in their territories to meet with various facilities that are having brush challenges or facilities that are really just interested in hearing about the brush program that Healthmark has to offer. The sales reps and myself like to go into decontam and work side by side with the technicians while they're cleaning some of their most challenging devices. While working in decontam, the technicians like to point out devices that they don't have the correct tools to clean with, which is really where we can come in and help. I usually bring with me a supply of brushes, depending on the visit, so that the technicians can try them when we're working in decontam with them. And then we like to leave a few behind so that we can ensure that it's the right size brush even after we leave. And another tool that I like to bring with me is our new lumen sizer. The lumen sizer is a nice circular tool that allows you to find pretty close to the exact internal diameter of the instrument in which you're cleaning. It is very important that you have the right internal diameter of the instrument that you're cleaning so that you can choose the correct brush. Choosing the correct brush is really what helps you remove that debris. It helps you feel that friction that you want when you're cleaning, and that's what helps you remove that debris from inside the lumen. And if you don't feel the friction, then you know you don't have the correct size So you're really not brushing. You're kind of just moving it through and not really moving any debris. So this is the first item that's really like this out on the market that helps you find the internal diameter. So it's a great tool because it also educates the staff to know that the internal diameter may vary by manufacturer as well. So it's a nice tool I like to bring with me on my visits because I think it truthfully really helps the staff.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, Abby, because that tool is, like you said, it's kind of the first of its kind. And typically what we see in SPD is that those diameter measuring devices are usually measuring the outer diameter. And that's where choosing the right brush can be a little bit challenging. But it sounds like you serve a critical role for our customers. Can you share any stories that will help illustrate to the listeners how you can help them out and when it comes to finding the right brush?
Sure. One of the customer that sticks out most to me in my mind is a facility that was really having challenges with cleaning their arthroscopic shavers. I had gone in with a few team members to help do a complimentary performance review or audit. And during this meeting, we used a borescope, which is a nice tool also to help make sure that you're manually cleaning properly. And when we were using this borescope to inspect the inside of their shavers, many of the shavers that we checked, we found still had bioburden and debris still left in the shaver after it had been manually cleaned. This is just not a one facility problem. This isn't something that's unique to this account. It's something that happens at multiple facilities because they are so hard to clean. There's very little direction given in the IFU. And a lot of times they call to use a borescope because they are so hard to clean. So while I was there that day with my other team members, I had some specific shaver brushes with me, and I was able to work with the staff in decontam on educating them how to properly clean the shaver. One of the questions that I love to ask, and even brought it up at our national sales meeting for our sales reps on a quiz we had to take, was how many brushes do you think it takes to clean both the internal and external surface of a shaver? Almost every time I ask this question, it brings up a debate, and it brought one up at our national sales meeting too. So depending on the instructions for use, it could be 4 or 5 brushes, which oftentimes that's not what the staff is using, or they don't even have the right tools. So if you think about it, you need a brush for the inner barrel, the dry fork area, the suction and lumen channel, a brush for that external surface, and depending on how dirty it got, you might also need something separate to clean the cord. This is just one of the items that our SPD technicians have to clean. It's one of the challenging items, but there's far more challenging than this. And I think this is just one story of many times where Healthmark can go in and work with the staff and educate them on why it's so important that you have the right tools.
Yeah, Abby, I think you just pointed out something that's really important in your story. When we brush inside of lumen items, we can't see what's going on the inside. And the hope is that we'll see the brush become clean. But there are tissues and soils like meniscus or other types of soils that can be very sticky and hard to remove. And so being able to visualize inside of those lumens with a tool like a borescope is extremely helpful in determining whether your brushing is actually working. So I don't want to go down that path again because Stephen and I covered that in a previous episode, but I just thought that your story illustrated that need to visually check your process. So Abby, go ahead, please.
Another story that I really like to tell and find helps to highlight another time that Healthmark teamed up with a facility to make their ordering and manually cleaning function smoothly. So oftentimes, if you think about your brush inventory in your department, it's kind of hard to manage. It oftentimes tends to be difficult to manage because there's a lot of items that you need. And oftentimes it could vary by what cases are being done, what technicians are in the back that week, what types of cases, as I mentioned, are happening, or just what supply you can get or what you have. So I was working with a rep and we went into an account that was having this exact challenge. They had an abundance of one size and none of the sizes that the staff really liked. So that's oftentimes it's common. I like to think about it, that's, something that's, again, not just a one facility challenge. It tends to be at a lot of facilities. And why is it so hard to manage? I think it's because there's so many variations in what you can order and what you're cleaning. So the rep and I went in working with the manager, and we were able to help identify which brushes the department actually needed and created a custom brush kit for this account. So with these custom brush kits that Healthmark creates, it helps alleviate the need to order maybe 10 or 15 line items on a PO. It makes it nice because it makes it just one line item that's unique to your facility and has the brushes that your technicians like and meet the needs to clean the instruments that your facility has. So with this kit, it creates, an easy order number as well. You can create them for certain days of the week or have one for 1 week and you change it out every week. It also helps you stay accountable. It helps you know when brushes need to be disposed of properly, because that's also something, that comes up a lot as when do we get rid of it, or how often should this be used, or should this brush be used on everything? Maybe it's a metal brush, maybe that technically shouldn't be used on everything. So these custom kits also help as an easier way to organize and to manage your ordering, but it also helps to educate the staff on proper disposal and which brushes they should really be using. So along with the kit, as I mentioned, you want to educate the staff. So along with the kit, after it's been created and designed specific for your facility or specific for this account that we were at, the local rep and I went in at a later date and did an in-service called The Art of Brushing that, as you mentioned, Sharon had worked to create. And with this Art of Brushing, the staff gets educated on manually cleaning, how to use the tools properly, but they also were able to get a 1 free CEU. As discussed, Healthmark offers a vast brush product line, unique tools to help find the internal diameter, size with our lumen sizer, custom brush kits that are a nice tool for your facility. As well, we have a quality product when you're ordering a Healthmark brush. You're getting that Healthmark support, which is really nice. And we have local reps that can come in or educators to come in and help as well. Along with providing free services to the staff, Healthmark really truly wants to partner with the facility to help make their process run more smoothly each and every time. We like to say an educated customer is the best customer, and that's what Healthmark strives to do. So I stole that line from our education team, but I thought it was fitting since the podcast called Ask the Educator.
Thanks, Abby. Yeah, I hope that our customers understand that we really value education here and at Healthmark. I really love that brush kit program that you talked about where it's custom to the facility. That's something that, gosh, I wish, thinking back on it now, I wish I would have taken more advantage of that myself. That's all we have time for on this episode of Ask the Educator. Thank you again so much for joining me, Abby, and thank you for serving such a critical role for Healthmark. As you pointed out in your stories, the brush product specialist or brush queen is very helpful to the sales team and the customers.
Thanks, Kevin, for having me. And if you have any further questions or need further information, you can feel free to call or email Healthmark customer service and they can get you in touch with me.
All right, let's quickly recap what Abby and I covered in this episode. Abby, our brush product specialist, joined me for this episode to share with you how she is able to help customers identify and find the proper brushes for the devices that they are cleaning, even the unique needs that may only exist at specific facilities. Abby is able to help free up time for the managers and techs by doing some of the work for you, finding the right brush for each job. And she also pointed out a new product called the Lumen Sizer. This is a product that is unique because it helps you find the inner diameter of a lumen. This is a more accurate way to determine the correct brush size that you need. And finally, Abby shared with us about the convenient customizable brush packs that can be made for your unique needs and to make ordering for you easier. I want to thank you for listening to the podcast. Please submit any questions you may have to our email address, asktheeducator@hmark.com. That's asktheeducator@hmark.com. All opinions expressed on this show are those of the presenters. Before using any medical device, it is important to review the device manufacturer's instructions for use.